Welcome back to another Cozmoe tutorial. Today we're looking at my new song called World War III. This one was inspired by what's been going on in Ukraine right now, and the proceeds from the Bandcamp downloads will be donated to charity. Let's hear a little bit of the song. Let's jump on in. All right, tip number one is to use the LFO on the Granulator. And what makes this cool is that I've mapped an LFO to the file position. And this sample is a cool sample because it's basically a flute, and half of it's just a sustained flute, and the second half, the flautist starts adding vibrato. So it's going back and forth between a regular flute and then vibrato flute. For instance, if I turn this off, there's less vibrato, or if I pause it on the vibrato, more. I haven't really automated any of the other controls. And then I've got some like a fat rack and then some shimmer just to make it really reverby. You can see I've scaled it. I've made it go between 9% and 66%. All right, tip number two is to work subtractively. Sometimes when I don't know exactly what to do with my drop and it's just not sounding that good, what I'll do is I'll build up a lot of sounds and then I'll start automating the activator button to shut off, or a volume utility gain knob just to turn off. So you can see here's my instrument groove. And I'm just kind of shutting it off and only letting it come in at moments. And what that allows me to do is come up with new ideas, because whatever was going on just wasn't that good. But that way I can have like a big fat chord stack or whatever exist for a bit and then shut off, and then I'll come in with some new sounds. So I work that way a lot. I'm doing that to the bass group as well. Not always just shutting it off right away. It's also just turning down some moments, but that's it for the most part. Tip number three is to have a synced LFO patch, but figure out ways to push the audio to the right to give it more groove. So here I've got a 16th triplet LFO, but I've used track delay that's 49 seconds late, and I've got the notes kind of intentionally played in by hand kind of late to kind of give it a behind the beat. Let's hear it with just the drums. Let's hear it if I didn't have the track delay. It feels like it kind of steps on the beat a little bit too much, and if I quantized it perfectly again, yeah, it just really doesn't sound that good. So I definitely, using the track delay is nice for that. So I've got, for this patch, it's a pretty simple sawtooth patch, but then I've got this other layer from Massive, just combining with it, another simple Massive patch to combine with it, and a monophonic line. I think I played around with the panning of this one. To have this really weird kind of janky human feel. Tip number four is to use choke groups in order to clean up the flamming of your snares. So I like these sounds to happen right before the snare. Here's a scraping sound. And I'm playing that, but I want that to cut off the second that these snares come in. Let's hear it. You can see I'm heavily delaying the snare and adding a rim shot on beat 4 where the snare usually would go, for this crazy relaxed human feel. And what I've been doing recently is playing around with having sounds with more sustain, but just using the choke group. So the second that the main snare comes in, it's gonna shut off whatever that sound that might be. But I'm pretty sure if we look at the scrape sound, it's in choke group 16, and I've done that with some other, yeah, the sound. So it's just kind of changing the sound of my flamming snares. Let's like take them all off, no choke group. Yeah, so you can see that this time the scrape sound goes through the snare. So it's a really cool way just to put weird Foley sounds and weird even loops. It doesn't matter. Just throw whatever you want in there, and if you can use the choke group to kind of ensure that it'll cut off when the snare comes in, it creates a really cool feel. Tip 5 is to use Foley sounds and directly take them from your lyrics. This is kind of an easy one because this song is about war, so of course I'm using some war sounds as impacts instead of using an impact sample. I've got bombs dropping and missiles, but I even have other things like where, you know, I say hold your breath and I'm using the sound of somebody breathing. I've got a rainforest sound. If you've got kind of a cinematic song, it makes sense to use a lot of Foley sounds instead of normal FX. All right, that does it for today. Thanks for checking out the song. Like I said, hit that link in the description if you want to buy the track off Bandcamp and to donate the proceeds to Ukraine. Check y'all next time.